There is nothing in the original text that differentiates between these two terms. The Greek Septuagint does not differentiate between those two terms.
So in the debate with Anthony Buzzard and others, James White argues that "to my Lord" is also applicable to "the Lord," that is Yahweh in all caps there. Let's see if this is true. So again, Lord all caps equals Yahweh or Jehovah, also known as Adonai. Now the phrase "to my Lord" equals the one Hebrew word adoni. And again, the divine name, the four letters in the Greek are translated simply as Kyrios or O Kyrios, the Lord. And the Hebrew word ladoni is translated as the Greek phrase to kyriomou. So James White and others want to argue that Adonai, another way of saying the divine name, Yahweh, can sometimes equals adoni. But we'll see here that the Greek translation actually supports the original Hebrew. So this is noted by other evangelicals. The Greek is a translation of the Hebrew "said Yahweh to my Lord." As quoted here, Kyrios, that is Yahweh, is God, while the second Kyrios mu, Adoni, my Lord, is the Messiah. If, however, ambiguity arises from this double use of Lord, the meaning may be conveyed by the Lord or God said to my Messiah. So there's a split here in the Trinitarian camp because many know full well that the second Lord here in Psalm 110 verse 1 is not another God, that is another Yahweh, another Adonai, but a title typically used for human beings and sometimes very rarely angels, adoni. Now let's take a closer look at the Hebrew word ladoni, as I said, translated by the Greek phrase to kyriomou, to my Lord, and we'll see that it's never used for Yahweh, that is the God of Israel. So it's used for humans. Abraham is called ladoni in the book of Genesis, Esau, Saul in 1 Samuel, King David, and the prophet Elijah in 1 Kings.
The very same Greek language that translates Adoni translates Adonai in Psalm 35:23 and Psalm 16:2. And so both of those texts indicate there is no differentiation whatsoever. Therefore, when this comes into the New Testament from the Greek Septuagint, there is none of the distinction.
But are those verses really exceptions to Psalm 110:1? So here we have Psalm 15 and Psalm 34. As you can see there, my Lord is translated as Kyrios mu, which looks like the same Greek phrase used in Psalm 110, but guess what? It's not. So there you have again Psalm 110, Lord all caps, the divine name translated as Kyrios in Greek, and the phrase is not the same as those two so-called examples, as James White claims. The one in Psalms 110, to kyriomou, is not kyriomou. But even if it were the same Greek phrase, we know that exceptions are not the rule. Yahweh, Kyrios, is contrasted with this one word of adoni, translated usually as Kyrios mu, every other time in the Septuagint, Greek translation of the Hebrew. So you have those examples in Genesis, Numbers, Book of Joshua, Judges, both books in Samuel, both books of Kings, and First Chronicles. In all these examples, you'll find that in the Greek translation of the Hebrew, Kyrios is clearly contrasted with Kyrios mu. But the bottom line is that James White produces two false parallels that are not applicable to Psalm 110:1. Again, the Greek to kyriomou is not found in those psalms he mentions, and even if they were, unique rare exceptions should not be the rule. This is something recognized by many evangelicals. Even the noted Theological Dictionary of the Old Testament says, for the LXX translators often render Adonai not by Kyrios mu, my Lord, but simply by Kyrios, Lord. Lastly, note that in the debate here with Anthony Buzzard and others, James White is reluctant to tell us exactly what he's proposing.
The difference between Adonai and adoni was added hundreds of years after the New Testament was written.
Well, are you saying the Hebrew text is wrong here?
I'm saying the vowel pointing is a commentary.
But you're saying it's wrong.
I'm saying it's a commentary
Yes.
that reflects the viewpoints of the people who made
And
it.
it's wrong.
I just showed you the Isaiah scroll that does not contain it. It is a later commentary. Wrong, right isn't the issue.